Hello everyone. I know all of you, this is probably getting ready for church, but we have a dinner today, and my last thing I made kraut with kielbasa, and I'm making homemade chicken noodles, and I'm going to use my Tupperware Ultra Pro bakeware. You can put this in the microwave or you can put it in the oven, and today I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm not going to cover it. It does have a nice cover to put over it, but I'm not going to cover it. But I wanted to show you how I do my yams, and they may be too sweet, but we do it once a year, so you know it's good with dressing and all that. So the first thing we need to do is there's 4 sticks of butter in a pound, and we want to take at least 1 stick, this is a 2 cup, and just pour it in this pan. And I always add just a little more, like another half a stick. Who doesn't like buttery yams? But they are sweet, and you can buy the canned yams that's made with Splenda, but we're not going to use them. So I've got my yams, I peeled them with a peeler, and then what I done, and I done these last night, I put them in a pan of water and I baked them, but not all the way through. You just bake them until your fork doesn't resist poking it, because you want these to bake the rest of the way in your candied stuff. Let me get my knife. Now, I used to do these in a big iron skillet, but it's kind of heavy and hard to transport. This is the lid to this, so when I get done, I'll just put the lid on the my Tupperware, and then take it that way. But first, what we want to do is we'll cut these last, and I'll show you the consistency of them. So we take our butter, let me get this out of the way, and to that, we're going to add some, let me get you over here, dark brown sugar, because dark brown sugar has molasses in it, so you're getting that little extra punch. And you're supposed to put 2 cups, but I'm using a 2/3 cup measuring with my Tupperware, because I'm not sure how much of this I really want in there. But I think the 2/3 cup would be nice. And then we're going to put a half a cup of sugar in all that. I know it looks like a lot, but it's really good, and it creates a really nice glaze. So then we're going to use light corn syrup, and I will just add about, couldn't get it out of here. It's taken its time. That's what makes it so good for glaze. I'm just going to go like this. Thick corn syrup. And I'd say you probably put about, not quite a half a cup. And this is probably a half a cup left in this, so I'm just going to pour it in there. That beautiful glazy Karo syrup. It's light syrup. You can use maple or whatever you want, but this really makes a nice glaze with that dark brown sugar. So we're going to put that in there. Looks like a lot, like I said, but it's coming out slow. Like I said, there was only that much left in there, so I know that when I pour this in, it'll be the right amount. So my house, it kind of smells like kraut and kielbasa and chicken noodles. And I made the noodles real nice last night and laid them on the table and kept getting up in the middle of the night, moving them around, and they're dry. They're dry already. So we'll just put that in there. We don't need to worry about all the how muches and everything. So you make it the way you want. So we're going to put some cinnamon in that. Just some cinnamon. It gives it a nice brown glaze. If you don't like cinnamon, don't put the cinnamon in. You're supposed to put allspice, but for some reason I don't have any allspice, so I'm adding my own spices. Here's just a little nutmeg. A lot of people don't like nutmeg, so you don't have to put a lot in. And a little clove, which goes into allspice. So I'm going to put a little bit. We don't want to put too much of that because it can be overpowering. And it's hard to get out of this one. So there we go. That was probably not even a half a teaspoon. So we're going to mix all this butter and all this around together. And make that glaze. You can do it right in your Tupperware pan or your pan, whatever you've got. These make it really nice to transport because it's got the lid. And I will not put the lid on while I'm baking it, because if you do, it'll make it really watery, and you want that nice thick glaze over your yams. You can do sweet potatoes this way too. Okay, now see what this is coming out like here. I think that's enough butter to give that nice. So we'll just pat this down. There's no use to making more time for things when you can do it the easy way. Still turns out good. So anyway, I've got it all patted down. And now I'm going to take the sweet potatoes, and like I said, you do not cook them all the way through. You can cut them the way you want to put in here, and I'm thinking about just doing the thick circles, but you cook them to where there's a little bit of resistance but not. And how you do that is you put them in a pan and cook them in water, and then you check them, and if there's no resistance, you cook them a little longer. But then when you get that little bit of resistance there, see, you turn the stove off, let them sit for 15 minutes, and then take them off and let them sit 10 more. And then you can, I put them in this little Tupperware Ultra Pro I have. So anyway, we're just going to cut these like this. About this thick, or thicker if you want them. But you see, there's still got a little bit of a raw in the middle feel. But then we'll cook in your oven. You put your oven on 350 and you cook them about 45 minutes without a lid or foil. Like I said, it'll make it. And we're just gonna, we'll set these here, and then we'll back in there, and we'll cut these all up. Cut them big enough to, and I tried to get the yams all the same size. If you get a great big one, just take and cut it, you know, cut it to where it's the same size almost. You're going to find out if you like sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. This is the way to go. Anybody that likes sweet potatoes or yams will not be disappointed in this. And I'm not putting any marshmallows on them. I'm just going to do it this way. And you don't have to lay them any certain way in there. But this is the way I'm going to do them. There's no cookie cutter way of doing these. You do them the way you want. Cut them the way you want. I wished I could have got more, but I, wanted to leave a couple for someone else. They didn't have a whole lot. This will be enough. It'll be enough to go with everything else we're having. And if we don't have enough and people like them and they say, well, will you bring more next time? I will. If not, I'll bring them home and eat them myself because I like sweet potatoes and yams. Okay, let me get something here. Okay, now I'm going to put this, see, this is laying like this, and I'm just going to lay these in here. Like I said, you can lay them the way you want. Doesn't matter. You can put them up like this, like stacked dominoes, or you can lay them down flat. It doesn't matter. Because when that bubbles, see, that's just laying on top of that right now. See, that's feels like a soft, hard layer. But once that starts bubbling and making that glaze, it'll really be nice. So we'll just lay these in here. You don't have to do anything else but lay them in there. And that's going to melt that brown sugar and syrup and sugar and spices will melt and get all glazy when you put them in here. So we'll just keep layering. I can't wait to eat some myself. There was a special request for sweet potatoes, so we're going to try this and see what everybody thinks about it. If they don't like it, that's fine. Okay, see, we've got a lot more left, so we'll just keep putting them in there. See how I've layered them? We'll just keep fitting them in there because they'll all get glazed as they cook. I didn't think they would be enough to fit in this big Tupperware thing, but there's plenty. So I'm going to stuff them down in there wherever I can find a place to stuff them. And that way they'll all be filled in there. Definitely want to put them all in there. Let's see here. Here's a place to put one. Try to lay them down in there. There's one little baby one. Stick him right in here. So here you are. Now you put that on top of your butter, brown sugar, and spices, and your syrup, and put all that, you know, how I showed you to put it together. So this, there's a little bit more, but I don't know how fast it'll come out. I should have turned it upside down and left it that way. I hate to just waste it. Come on. Got to kind of coax it. We'll just throw that over top a little bit. It's not coming out quick, but what little strands are coming out, wouldn't just throw that on top. Like I said, I'm not going to put any, I'm getting sticky, any marshmallows on top. I'm just going to leave it like this and let the glaze take care of it. So far, I'm not going to do that, so we'll see how. Like I said, you don't have to take a lot of time to do these. They're pretty easy. See, I'm just taking that little string and running it over the top of that, which you don't have to do, but I'm doing it just to help the glaze a little bit. There you go. And that looks really good. It looks like it's going to really glaze it up good. Time we get that other stuff. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, I'm a little sticky, but I'm going to take a little bit of cinnamon and just kind of dazzle over the top. If I can do it without, yeah, just a little bit, see? It doesn't come out a lot, just a little bit with that syrup. And time you get your dark brown sugar and your butter and all that going on this will really make a nice glaze there. We'll just kind of sprinkle that a little bit to give it a brownish glaze and give that extra flavor. Because I didn't put the cinnamon in that I was supposed to put in, because I'm not a real big cinnamon lover. But anyway, some people are. So there you are, and I've got that all layered in there now. And I'm going to bake this without a lid. That way it won't get all watery. In a 350 preheated oven for probably 40 minutes. And then that will give that all that glaze, and it'll all marry in together. And then I'll just let it sit. I'll just let it sit outside of the oven and let that get all thick all over that and everything, and then I'll cover it when it cools and cools a little bit, and take it to the dinner with us. So here we are, and I will put a picture down in the bottom when I get it done. So anyway, God bless.